What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Drunken Spoilers. It's this idea I had where I'll be hanging out with people and they'd be very drunk and trying to explain movies to me, and I always thought it was extremely funny to hear people try and think and explain things while they're just completely intoxicated. So for this first little foyer, I decided to do an action classic, 1985's Commando, kind of the launching action heroics of Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's a couple things I forgot to mention that Drunk Me forgot to mention, and that is one, Commando 2 was originally written as Die Hard. Die Hard was going to be Commando 2 for a few days. The original writer-director was pitching the book that Die Hard is based on to be for Commando 2, and they decided to scrap that and just do an actual true Die Hard film instead. So that's kind of cool. Secondly, this is also kind of the start of Arnold Schwarzenegger's one-lines, where he's just saying really stupid stuff after he kills people. There's a couple scenes like he kills a guy in a plane and he tells stewardess not to bother him because he's dead tired. So that's kind of fun. So I'm extremely hungover today. I'm doing my best to sound jovial. I'm not at all. I feel like a part of me died last night. So hopefully it was all worth it. So y'all just sit back and enjoy the show. Thanks. So Commando was a film in 1985. It was a few years after Arnold Schwarzenegger did Terminator and Red Sonja. While he was a side character in those movies, Commando was the first thing that he did where he was like the legit star. It was all about him. And it was pretty awesome. If you love bullets, muscles, and blood, Commando is the movie for you. So we start the movie with a garbage truck going down the street picking up trash, and there's a couple and they're like confused that there's a garbage truck on a Tuesday. They're like, what's going on? So the guy's like, damn it, I have to go take out the trash right now. So he goes and he gets the trash cans. He runs down outside. He's pulling up the trash cans and he's like, hey, wait, here's some trash. And the guys are like, don't worry, we didn't forget. And they pull out Tech 9s and they blow this guy away, right? They just shoot this guy on the street. And I have a couple questions here, okay? One is okay, so did these guys get a job at the trash company for a week so that they could get on this guy's route? Or secondly, did they buy a trash truck and then just choose to do it on this day? Because that would be, more inconspicuous. So I wonder if they continue to do their trash route. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. The next scene we get is Bill Duke is buying a Cadillac in a store, right? And and the salesman, he's telling him everything that's going on or whatever. And Bill Duke's like, I'm gonna turn this car on, right? So he starts it up. The guy's like, yeah, you hear that motor? That motor is fucking killing. Then Bill Duke just backs up and then he runs this guy over, right? He runs him over. He comes out of the entire used car sales lot floor. These assassins don't know the word subtlety. It's very strange. They're just murdering people out in the open. How do you not catch these guys? It is so ridiculous. So, then we get the real opening, okay? Arnold Schwarzenegger is carrying around a tree. Not a log. This dude is carrying a whole tree on his arm, right? He's straight jacked. He's got the tree. He's carrying a 4-foot chainsaw in his other hand. He's just walking around. He's got stuff to do today. And then he's just chopping wood. He's chopping wood. You'll notice two things about Arnold Schwarzenegger right now. One, he is the most jacked individual you'll ever meet in your entire life. Two, this dude loves V-neck shirts. All of his shirts have a V and they go to here. They're all midsection Vs. It's really weird. I don't know if Austria likes V-necks or the 80s were all about it, but this dude loves them and you need to love them. Then we get a helicopter flying in and he's like, oh no, I'm gonna have to do some work. And the helicopter lands, and two guys hop out, and this colonel hops out, and this guy's like, "Hey, John Matrix, people in your unit have died. You need to be on the lookout." And he's like, "Oh no, that's crazy." And some dudes, everybody that we saw died or whatever, blah, blah, blah. They were apparently in Arnold Schwarzenegger's unit. He was a colonel in the army. Since he is retired. And so this guy's basically telling him, like, look, some people are coming for you. You need to look out. And he's like, it's cool. I've got really tight shirts. It's going to be okay. And the guy leaves two people there to help guard him while he goes and figures some stuff out. The helicopter takes off. It goes away. And then all of a sudden, we get two hitmen in the bushes. They pop up. They start shooting people. Arnold Schwarzenegger dives back in the house. He grabs his daughter. He's like, "What are you gonna do?" And one of the dudes has been shot. He's like, "I'm gonna make it though. It's okay." So John Matrix, Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, "I gotta go to the tool shed. That's where all my guns are. I'll be back." And he goes. He punches in a code. He's got this big room full of like rifles and all types of stuff. He grabs a big gun. He's coming back out. He goes in the house. He tries to sneak back in through the attic. The dude that was supposed to be guarding him is all of a sudden dead. He's in the door. He just falls forward. Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, "Oh, that's crazy, whatever." And then he comes in the room. One of the bad guys sitting in the room. He's got a heart that was from his daughter. And it says like, "I love you, daddy," or something on it. And the guy's like, "You better do what we say or we're going to kill your daughter." So at some point, in the amount of time it took Arnold Schwarzenegger to run from the kitchen to his tool shed, they have killed the dude, the armed guard. They have captured his daughter, and they are now driving away. Right? Not to mention, they also disabled his vehicle, because when he goes to his Ford Escape SUV thing, right? The engine's been totally disabled, right? So apparently in 5 minutes they've been able to do all this stuff. It's totally insane. So Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, "I don't care. I'm still gonna ride this vehicle out." So he takes his truck and he pushes it down a cliff or a mountain or whatever. He gets inside the damn thing and he's just like all the way down, right? He's just riding all the way down. And as he's riding down, the bad guys are like, "This guy's crazy, he didn't have any brakes, he's dropping it down the mountain." And then he lands, he wrecks, his car rolls over, it catches fire for some reason, because in the 80s everything caught fire, I don't know why. He gets outside, he starts beating people up left and right in his V-neck sweater, and he's punching guys, and then he gets shot by a dart. And at that point you get to see the main bad guy. His name is Bennett. And that was a partner in his initial military group. And you know he's the bad guy because he's wearing fingerless gloves, and he has a chest mesh shirt on, right? It's just like chain. He's just wearing like this 80s chain vest. It's ridiculous, right? So then Arnold Schwarzenegger wakes up in this room, and this guy's doing this terrible accent. It's the dad from Night at the Roxbury. He's like, "Hey, you need to help me kill this president of this country because you helped overthrow some people, and now everything sucks. So you need to help me become the president of this country." Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, "No way, man. I'm awesome. No, I'm not gonna help you out." So basically, they didn't bring out Lisa Milano. They're like, "Yo, we're gonna shoot your daughter in the face." And so he's like, okay. So some guys take him to this airport. He's on the airport, and they're walking through. It's a little bitty small white dude named Sully, and this tall black guy, and they put him on the plane, and Sully's being like, kind of like inappropriate. He's talking about his daughter, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you last because you're funny." And Sully's like, "Hey, I'm gonna smoke a cigarette in the airport because it's 85. I can smoke wherever I want to smoke." And so they go on the plane, and immediately they sit down, and the black guy's like, "Hey, you say anything else, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth." Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, "Whatever, bro." And as they're closing the door, Arnold Schwarzenegger like throws an elbow, hits this guy in the face, and then breaks his neck, and nobody notices. Like nobody cares that he just committed homicide on the plane. It was apparently super quiet. Then he gets a blanket, puts over the guy, puts a hat on the guy's head, and that's just good to go, right? Then Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, "Hey, I'm gonna use the bathroom." And he gets up and he goes to the bathroom. This flight is 11 hours long, and these stewardesses don't bother to ask dude that just died or the guy in the bathroom for 11 hours if they need anything. It's kind of weird. I don't know if this is Delta or if it's like American Airlines, but it's, they should have a little bit more of a personal touch, is all I'm saying. Arnold Schwarzenegger breaks down into the luggage area, and he gets onto the wheels as it's trying to take off. Somehow he is broken in there, and he jumps. He just jumps from like 100 feet up and lands in some water, and he's got like, he's running towards the airport. He sees Sully, who is harassing a black stewardess, this really cute chick, and he's giving off this like rapey vibe or whatever. So he follows her out to this parking garage. She's like, "Hey man, buzz off. I'm not into it." He's like, he just calls her a whore because he's not a good guy. Then Arnold Schwarzenegger, for whatever reason, holds this chick hostage. He pops up behind her. He's like, "Hey, you do listen to what I say." And then he puts her in the car, and then he rips out her passenger seat. Like, you can't sell that car after that. That's it, man. Her value has gone down. He for no reason, he rips it out, throws it to the side, and then he sits in the car. He's like, "Oh, this is much better. My long legs can now sit in this roadster. Perfect." And then he follows Sully in his yellow Porsche. Let me tell you this. The first time I saw this movie, yellow Porsches were awesome. I was like, damn, that's a cool car. I would like to have that car someday. It's so 80s, so awesome. And then I watched it again. I was like, it's still great. I would still like to have a yellow Porsche. So cool. So they follow him to the mall. And apparently Sully is a bag man for his group of bad guys. He shows up in the mall at a bar, and he gives a guy a case full of money. He gets some passports back to him. Our Schwarzenegger and the stewardess are following them. Our Schwarzenegger's like, "Hey, you have to help me. My daughter's being held." And that's a perfect Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation. Your ears might be deceiving you. So she goes into the bar, and she finds a security guard. She's like, "Hey, this guy told me crazy. He's got a V-neck shirt on. It's way too low. You gotta go check him out." And security guards start calling each other. They see him. They go after him or whatever. And let me say this. This is the most secure mall I've ever seen in my entire life. There are like 14 security guards at this mall. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is just like punching these guys left and right. He's just like, "Whatever, let's do this." He's punching him in the face. Sully sees the fight. He runs off. Arnold Schwarzenegger follows him, whatever. He gets in the car. He's chasing after him. And then the stewardess like runs out in the street for no reason whatsoever. She was totally free. And she's like, "No way, you gotta take me with you." She gets in the car, and then she starts yelling at Arnold for some crazy reason. I don't know what's going on here. And they eventually catch up to Sully. They wreck his car. He yanks him out of the car. He holds him over this mountain. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And Sully's like, "Hey man, you need me." He's like, "No, I don't." And he just lets him go because he found like some keys. So apparently the key is all you need to know about the information for where your daughter is and how you don't want anybody to die. So whatever. Then they then drive to the hotel, and Bill Duke, who's also in Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, shows up. His name is Cook. He shows up in the hotel, and he's like, "Hey, where's Sully at?" Because the stewardess is posing as a prostitute, I guess, or whatever. Because if you're a female in the 80s, you can just you're just a prostitute apparently. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bill Duke get into a fight. It's really slow and terrible. And Arnold Schwarzenegger punches him, and he falls on a stake of wood that was randomly in the room. I don't know where the hell it came from, but he gets stabbed in the chest. He's like, "Eh." And then they go to his car, but it's not the same Cadillac that he stole in the very beginning of the movie. It's a blue Cadillac. Like, does Bill Duke just steal Cadillacs all the time? Is he just into that? I don't know. But they steal his car, and then they drive to this airport or this depot, and they figure out that basically there's this island where everybody's hanging out. All the bad guys are at this island. So he's like, "Hey, we need to go get some guns." And so him and the stewardess go get some guns, and he hops in this bulldozer out of nowhere. I don't know where the hell this bulldozer came from. And he runs through the front of the store, and then he just starts grabbing like rocket launchers and grenades and claymore mines. And he grabs like a flak vest and a knife and everything. And it just makes no sense. Then he goes up to the counter and puts in some code at the bottom, and they find a secret room that's just got like huge machine guns. Like every surplus store that sells army stuff has just got like machine guns. He's like, oh, here we go, we got some machine guns. And he goes, he starts like loading up like rounds or whatever, right? But there's cops there because they're actually good at their job, and they heard an alarm, and so they show up. They arrest John Matrix. Driving off, the stewardess has got half the gear in the Cadillac, and she follows them, and she pulls up the light, and the guy in the armored vehicle is like, oh, look, it's a prostitute, because prostitutes follow you, and they have cars. I don't know. And so he's like, oh, cool, 80s. And all of a sudden, she picks up the rocket launcher, and she just like fires a rocket, blows up the armored vehicle, doesn't kill John Matrix, because he has too many muscles to die. He gets out, they hop in there, they go to this port where they saw, I guess, a plane takes off. They go there, they kill some people, get in the plane. The stewardess can't fly planes. I don't know if you knew this or not. The stewardess knows how to fly planes, thank God, because John Matrix doesn't know how to fly planes. And they go to this island, and as they're landing, John Matrix is like, hey, you stay here. I'm going to go take care of business. But before that, I'm going to get naked. He comes out of the plane. He's wearing just a Speedo, because the only thing less masculine than a V-neck shirt is just wearing nothing. Nothing at all. And he's like, no, I'm wearing nothing. Because, to be honest, if I look like that, I wouldn't wear anything either. It's ridiculous. Like, that dude is... If God made testosterone into a person, it would be Arnold Schwarzenegger from 1985. It is ridiculous. So then he rows the canoes to this island, and then there's this montage of him putting on gear, and he's like putting camouflage, because the only thing better than wearing camouflage is putting the paint on your skin, because people can't see that, I guess. I don't know. But subtlety is not his strong suit, as he just murders people as he goes from the beach to the outliner of guards and guard houses. He starts placing claymores everywhere, and those claymores just blow up guard towers and buildings and everything, because it's movies and that's how it works. And then he has a machine gun and he just shoots people. He kills everybody. He kills everybody that he needs to kill. And then when he runs out of bullets, he runs into a tool house. And you're like, oh no, what's he going to do in the tool shed? And he starts grabbing buzzsaws and axes and stuff. And he starts flinging buzz blades at people's faces and killing them, and axes in people's groins. And then some of that, he takes their machine guns, he kills more people. He kills like 100 people. It's ridiculous, right? I guess they couldn't see him because he's got the colors on his skin. Whatever. Then he gets in the house, and the bad guy from Night at the Roxbury is there, and he's like, I got a shotgun. And then Schwarzenegger kills that guy too. And you're like, all right, cool. While all this is going on, Alyssa Milano, his daughter, so awesome, escapes because she learned how to do martial arts in the montage of the opening. She's doing elbow strikes. And she escapes, and then Bennett, the guy in the chain mesh shirt, who's been talking shit the whole movie, because he hasn't really had any scenes, so he's just like loading guns for like 5 scenes for no reason. He follows after her, he goes into the basement, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger kills everybody. There's like 100 dudes on this island, he kills everybody. He goes into the basement also, and then we get this scene where Bennett shoots Arnold in the arm, and then he's like, hey, let's do this. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger basically goads him into a fist fight. He's like, "Hey, come on, Bennett! I got an arm wound. Let's do this." And Bennett's like, "Yeah, it sounds great." And because he's like super fat and his mesh is like busting out. I don't know what this guy. He should have just shot Arnold in the face, but he's like, "Let's do it!" And they start going at it. Boom, boom, boom. And at some point, Arnold Schwarzenegger grabs a piece of metal, and he rips it from the wall. Like this dude has superpowers, and nobody's talking about it. It's really weird. And then he hurls this damn piece of steel into this guy's chest. He's like, "Hey, Bennett, let off some steam." And it's awesome. It's so good. And this was the launching point of his career, man. Ah, so good. Then all this ends, and then Arnold and Alyssa Milano go up to the beach, and the Colonel, Kirby, comes out, and he's like, hey, thanks for doing this. I'll be in touch. And he's like, don't count on it. And it's so good. Oh my God. So if you love action and you love movies that don't make any sense, you should watch Commando. It's great. You turn your brain off for an hour and a half. You watch Arnold Schwarzenegger in V-neck shirts. He chops wood. He kills a bunch of guys. You don't need to worry about the plot because it doesn't matter at all. You can't go wrong. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this made sense and you don't have to watch the movie now, and now you know all about Commando. Come back next time. There will be more alcohol. There will be more spoilers. Stay geekly.